This story begins with a girl named Minjae who had just transferred to a new school. Minjae had just one wish in her heart, to finally make some friends this time. At her last school, it was like her luck had run out. She never managed to make a single friend. So, on her first day, her mood was a little down. But fate had a little surprise in store for her. When she was introduced to the class, every student gave her a very warm welcome. And in this positive atmosphere, during recess, Minjae thought, maybe today, for the first time, I'll actually make a friend. But unfortunately, no matter how hard she tried, it had no effect. Everyone was ignoring her. But just then, in comes Jiwon, the most popular girl in school. She came over to Minjae with her friends and offered her friendship. Minjae was stunned. Why would such popular girls want to be friends with her? So what did she do? She immediately started using the socializing tips she'd learned online so she wouldn't be hesitant to talk. A little while later, Jiwon and her friends invited her to lunch. And as they all started walking together, a wave of happiness washed over Minjae's heart. Finally, my dream is coming true. But the real twist in the story was just beginning. Jiwon introduced her to some of her guy friends, and as soon as she met them, Minjae felt completely awkward. Not only were they all incredibly handsome, but they were also super popular. And when the most serious-looking one, Yijun, started to walk away without a word, his bracelet suddenly got caught on Minjae's coat, and he stumbled. But Minjae quickly caught him. Now she was totally confused about what to do. Then, she remembered a video she'd seen that said, you should always smile in awkward moments. So she gathered her courage, smiled, and softly apologized. Yijun just said coldly, forget it, and walked away. Jiwon then explained that Yijun and Hyejun are cousins, but they're complete opposites in personality. Hyejun is the class president, smart and super nice, whereas Yijun is totally reserved and cold. But the real fun was still to come. In music class, Minjae and Yijun had to share a desk. The atmosphere was already awkward, and now it got even weirder. But Minjae reminded herself, be social, so she worked up the nerve to try and talk to him. But nope, Yijun just put his earbuds right in. Minjae's heart sank a little. A bit later, a teacher called her over. He encouraged her to enjoy her time at the new school and then mentioned that another new student would be arriving soon. But as soon as Minjae saw the girl's profile, her eyes went wide. The new girl's name was also Minjae, but people knew her as Yumin, an Instagram influencer with thousands of followers. Her photos were stylish, fashionable, totally glamorous. Meanwhile, our Minjae was still the simple girl in glasses. And the biggest shock of all came when the professor mistook Minjae for Yumin. Now Minjae started to wonder, did my new friends mistake me for Yumin too? Is our friendship just based on a mistake? She was confused. She was happy to have friends, but she was also scared that the truth might come out. And then the story took another U-turn. Hyejun himself came to talk to her as he now knew the whole truth. However, Yijun assures Minjae that he will not share her secret with anyone. And now that she was back in class, her friends came up to her and started praising her social media popularity. But in reality, she was looking at Yumin's Instagram profile. At that moment, Minjae felt like she should probably tell the truth, but then she realized that all these girls just wanted to get close to her so that she would follow them on Instagram. To save herself from this awkward situation, Minjae lied that she no longer uses social media, and as soon as the school routine ended, while returning home, she felt like a loser because everyone wanted to be friends with her because they mistook her for someone else. Tears started flowing from his eyes. Then she stopped at a shop to buy something sweet, and as she bought some pills, suddenly, Yijun grabbed her hand because he had seen Min crying on the bridge, and he thought she was going to do something wrong. Min thanked him for taking care of her and then asked him a simple question. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to disappear from this world? Yijun replied simply, no, never. But perhaps the best thing to do is just stay alive. That same night when Min reached her home, she heard a song titled Disappear or Stay Alive. The title touched his feelings. She heard the song, and after reading the comments, she realized that she was not the only one who felt that way. So she also left a heartfelt comment, which was replied to by the creator of the same playlist a short while later. I also feel like this sometimes. But the most important thing is to just stay alive. The next day, the new student finally arrived in class and she was Yumin. But as soon as Pisces saw him, she was shocked. Because Yumin looked nothing like her online image. She looked like a total nerd. During recess, Min met her in the bathroom and asked her, why do you look like this? You are very beautiful and popular. Then why all this? But Yumin said coldly, I don't need to tell you anything. At that very moment, Min realized that Yumin had adopted this nerdy look intentionally. Now Min and Ji-won started joking around in class, and watching this from a distance, Yumin remembered her old life when she too used to be with her friends and play makeup. But all that was now a thing of the past. Now he felt that friendship was of no use. After this, Min tried again to talk to Yumin, but Yumin did not want people to see them together. So he dragged Min into the school storeroom and told her clearly, "Don't behave as if you know me. You know nothing about me." Then Min also told everything openly, how his friendship is built on a mistaken identity, how he needs help. But Yumin coldly replied, "That's your problem, solve it yourself." And on the other side, Yijun and Hyejun, he was sitting with his cousin. Then a little nervously, Hyejun asked him, "Are you interested in Min at all?" But Yijun immediately shot back, "Not at all." Just then, Ji-won walked up and asked what they were talking about. When Hyejun told her that people were spreading rumors about Yijun and Min, both Ji-won and Hyejun started teasing the emo boy Yijun, and that's where the scene gets interesting. Ji-won tells everyone she's throwing a welcome party for Min since she's the new member of their group, and with that, we see them all enjoying themselves at karaoke. After a bit of fun, Yijun suddenly tells Min she should sing a song. After all, it's her welcome party. Min gets a little nervous because she's never sung in front of anyone before. Hyejun chimes in, "Hey, why don't you two sing together?" But Yijun gives him a straight answer, "Dude, I don't sing." Still, Min gathered her courage and started to sing, because she had decided she was going to tell everyone the truth today. But as soon as her voice rang out, the entire group was completely stunned. Min's voice was so beautiful that everyone started clapping to boost her confidence. After the song, Min made an excuse and went to the washroom. But little did she know, Yijun had quietly followed her. As soon as she came out, Yijun offered her a drink and congratulated her on her performance. In that moment, you could clearly see he was a little interested. Then, they both returned to the karaoke room. A little while later, when her friends came back, they happily announced that Yumin had accepted their request on Instagram. Min realized that everything was about to end. The friendship, the trust, everything. But then they saw that Yumin's Instagram profile didn't have a single photo. Seeing this, Min felt a bit of relief, but it also raised a question. Why did Yumin delete all her photos? On the other side, Yijun and Hyejun were sitting on the balcony talking. Hyejun brought up an old fight that they still disagreed on. But Yijun coolly replied, "I don't care." The next day in music class, Min couldn't take her eyes off Yijun. Yijun noticed this and they had a slightly awkward exchange. But then he took out an earbud and offered it to Min so they could listen to music together. Min was shocked. How could such a cold guy suddenly make such a sweet gesture? As soon as class ended, Ji-won started taking selfies with her friends. But then Yumin got in the way, and the girls thought she was ruining the photo. Then, in her typical queen bee style, she went up to Yumin and said, "Move aside." Yumin acted shy, but on the inside she understood everything. And as soon as the photo session was over, Yumin walked past everyone and stepped right on Yijun's shoe, obviously on purpose. Then, without saying a word, she put on an innocent face and quietly walked on. After that, Min and Yumin met on the roof, where Min thanked her for deleting the photos on Instagram. Yumin advised her not to get too close to those girls or she might run into trouble. That's when they both thought that maybe if they exchanged identities, everything would become easier. Min wanted to stay popular and Yumin just wanted to live a normal, invisible life. So they made a deal. Yumin would teach Min how to be popular and Min would turn her into the perfect nerd. Then the next morning, while Min was having fun with her friends, Ji-won suddenly asked why she left the idol agency. She'd heard that Min used to be a trainee. Hearing this, Min was completely confused. But as soon as she glanced over at Yumin, the real trainee, Yumin gestured for her to keep quiet. So Min just dropped the subject. A few days later, Min was out shopping and practicing how to be the perfect popular girl when suddenly, Yijun appeared right in front of her. Their eyes met and after a slight hesitation, they both said hello. From that moment on, Yijun's interest slowly started to show, even though he was still quite shy. The next day, during PE class, all the friends gathered and Ji-won's eyes fell on Min's shoes which were clearly not authentic. Everyone was shocked, as if it were some kind of scandal. The fashion icon, Min, wearing fake shoes? Everyone made a huge deal out of such a small thing. But then, Yijun made his move and said he wears the same shoes too. Taking the opportunity, a friend jokingly asked, "Oh, so are you two dating?" And just like that, the question shifted everyone's attention from Min's shoes to some light-hearted teasing. Later, in the school storeroom, while the two Mins, that is, our Min and Yumin, were talking, they heard someone coming and Min quickly hid. The person who came in was none other than Hyejun. He immediately understood what was going on and said, I want to join this secret group too. And just like that, the three of them formed a secret group. Then Haejun told them that people were talking about Min's fake shoes on the school forum, and now every time Min walked down the hall, everyone would stare and whisper. Back in class, Jiwon apologized to Min for her comment about the shoes during PE. But Min, with great maturity, said it was okay and that she wasn't upset. But later, Min felt bad when she overheard some people talking trash about Yumin, especially since Yumin had always been so kind to them. The next day, Yumin invited Min out so she could get to know her better, and from that point on, the two of them grew even closer. Then one day, the two were sitting in a cafe. It was the first time Min had ever been out with a friend, and her happiness was a sight to behold. Yumin asked, "Have you ever been to a cafe before?" The innocent question made Min a little embarrassed. She was popular at school, but she'd never actually been to a cafe. Seeing this, Yumin quickly snapped a cute photo of her and said, "Here, make this your new profile picture." Meanwhile, when Yejun saw Min's new profile picture, so he felt like talking to her. But then Haejun arrives and captures Yejun because he was actually hiding something, and Haejun caught him red-handed. The real mastermind behind the anonymous posts on the school forum that started the rumors about Min is slowly coming to light. The next day, when the girls were talking about who had a crush on whom, someone casually mentioned that Min had become good friends with both cousins, Yejun and Haejun. Everyone felt a little awkward hearing this because Yejun has always been difficult to get along with. He is very reserved and cold. Min heard this and understood one thing completely, that Yejun is not like this only with her. He is like that with everyone. But still a small question arose in his heart. Will I ever be able to get closer to him? While she was thinking this, one day when she went to class, she saw that a professor was scolding Yejun because his dressing looked like that of a college student and not like a school uniform. Min softly suggested that he try the school uniform sometime because maybe he would look better in it. And then, a little while later, when Min looks towards the classroom, there stands Yejun in full school uniform and looking really dashing. At that moment, he remembered what Yumin had said, how dressing up can completely change a person's attitude and vibe, and it brought a little joy to Min's heart. Then at recess, Yejun asks Min for her Korean notes, which she happily gives him. In return, Yejun gifts her his favorite music CD. Thank you for the kind notes and also for the uniform suggestion. After this, when PE class ends, as Min enters the classroom, she sees the shirt she bought with Yumin. But Ji-won and his gang start laughing at him. What type of t-shirt is this? Who wears such clothes? Min gets a little embarrassed, but at that very moment, Haejun says, "You look like a goddess, and for your information, that t-shirt is very expensive." Saying this, he looks straight at Yumin, and this is where a flashback begins, in which Haejun is asking Yumin why she is helping Min so much, and Yumin says, "Because I consider him a true friend and want to protect him." Hearing this, everything becomes even more emotional, and on the other hand, Ji-won and her friends are watching this whole scene with jealous eyes. The next day, Min takes a small gift to Haejun to thank him for her CD gift. A movie ticket, but just one. Haejun gets a little confused and asks, "Should I go alone?" So Min awkwardly says yes. But Haejun smartly says no. It would be better if we both go together after school, and this way their first official outing is confirmed. But as Min is walking down the corridor, Ji-won blocks her way and says, "Let's go to the store where you bought that shirt." But Min clearly says that she cannot go. "I'm going with Yejun." This set off alarm bells for Ji-won. "Oh, does Yejun like Min?" She said, "Okay, I can help." But the very next morning, Ji-won messaged Min, "I need to talk to you about something important." Meanwhile, as Haejun and Yejun were entering the school, Haejun notices that Yejun seems a little different. He asks, "Are you happy?" But Yejun, in his signature tone, replies, "I'm the same as always." But his cousin can clearly tell. This guy is hiding something. Meanwhile, Min runs into Ji-won, who's putting on a big act of being innocent. She brings up the dilemma between love and friendship. And then she casually asks, "Do you like Yejun? I mean, he did ask you out on a date." Min is a bit taken aback, but after a moment's thought, she replies, "No, I don't like him." She was starting to think that maybe Ji-won liked Yejun, and she didn't want anything to affect their friendship. But Ji-won didn't stop there. She quickly added, "By the way, I don't like Yejun either. He asks out every girl anyway." Hearing this, Min was flooded with confusion. Is Yejun really serious about me? Or is this just something he does? And in her confusion, she gave the movie ticket to Ji-won so she could go with Yejun instead. When it was time for the date, Yejun showed up all dressed up in alpha mode but was shocked to see Jiwon there. Jiwon instead of Min? His mood instantly soured, but he didn't let it show and the date went on normally. Meanwhile, Min met up with Yumin at the park and told her everything. Yumin was furious. She now realized that Jiwon had lied to Min and stolen her opportunity. Without a moment's hesitation, Yumin decided to call Haejun. Back at the theater, Yejun couldn't figure out why Jiwon was there, so he tried to call Min. But just then, he sees Min herself walking in with his cousin, Haejun, to watch the movie. Now his temper flared. The jealousy was palpable. Before the movie, they all went to a shooting arcade where Min showed off her incredible gun skills. Haejun congratulated her, but just as he went for a high five, Yejun extended his hand too, creating a bit of tension in the scene. Later, when they were all seated in the theater, Haejun was seething internally. In front of him were his crush and his cousin, while he was stuck with Jiwon. He couldn't figure out how to hide his jealousy. And as soon as the movie ended, Haejun quickly grabbed Jiwon's hand and said, "Come on, I'll take you home." But in reality, his plan was to leave Min and Yejun alone. On the way, Jiwon figured it all out. She asked Haejun, "You know I don't like Yejun, right?" Haejun couldn't stay quiet anymore. He said bluntly, "I know, you don't like Yejun. You're just jealous of Min, and you'd better not cross the line." Hearing this, Jiwon also realized that she wasn't dealing with just any ordinary guy. Meanwhile, Min and Yejun are walking home together, and Min asks him, "Did you really want to ask me out on a date?" Deep down, Yejun's answer was clear. Yes, but his shy nature holds him back. Just as Min is about to go into her house, Yejun musters up the courage and says, "I'm really happy that you came on the date." That one line completely made Min's day. Later that night at home, Min listens to a song by her favorite artist and leaves a heartfelt comment, pouring her heart out. And by coincidence, the owner of that very playlist sees her comment. He's surprised to see that Min feels the exact same way he does. And then, during recess the next day, while all the girls were busy with their usual gossip, Jiwon starts to feel a little distant from her own friends. She makes an excuse that she's not feeling well, so she doesn't have to go to the cafeteria. Because the truth was, she was still upset with Min, especially after that scene at the movie theater. Sitting alone, Jiwon starts to wonder when exactly she started to feel jealous of Min. At first, she didn't have any bad intentions. She thought Min was just an ordinary girl, and like always, she could win her over with fake compliments, just like she does with everyone else. But Min's behavior and natural personality captured everyone's attention, and Jiwon slowly started to get sidelined. That's when it settled in her mind that Min could be a threat to her, especially to her position. And as soon as she saw a photo of Yumin, where Min was posing and getting tons of comments and compliments, Jiwon felt like she had to do something. So, a plan is formed. She meets up with one of her friends, Do-hee, and tells her a huge lie. She says that she likes Yejun and that she had told Min about it. But despite that, she started interfering in my date along with Hajun. Now hearing this lie, Do-hee is completely stunned, and her first reaction is, "Wow, she's a real snake." I mean, she pretended to be a friend and then stabbed her in the back. So the next day, while Min is talking with Hajun and his friends, she sees her old friends from a distance and tries to go to the cafeteria with them. But as soon as she goes over, they all treat her in a really bad way, making it seem like Min ignored them just to chase after boys. And yes, Jiwon's plan was working exactly the way she wanted it to. Min gets completely cut off from the friend group and is left sitting alone in the cafeteria with a broken heart. But what makes her feel the worst is when Yejun and his cousin see her alone, sit down with her, and start to console her, because now all eyes are on Min. Whispers start spreading throughout the school that this girl is really something, juggling the two most popular boys at the same time. And hearing all of this, Min feels even more heartbroken and immediately leaves. She goes straight to Yumin and tells her everything that happened. Yumin tries to show her the truth, saying that she didn't do anything wrong, but these girls were against her anyway. Because in reality, she was never your true friend. The next day, Min's mood is still down, but Yejun notices, and to cheer her up, he shows her a sad sketch he drew, and it's so funny that Min can't help but smile. This small gesture makes Min's feelings for Yejun grow even deeper. Later that night, Hajun makes a new move. He approaches Jiwon and Do-hee and puts on an act, pretending to be interested in Jiwon. He then asks Do-hee if she can leave them alone for a moment. Hearing this, Do-hee's face falls, because, and this is something we didn't mention before, Do-hee actually has a crush on Hajun. But now, as she steps aside and Hajun and Jiwon are left alone, Jiwon asks him directly, "Why are you doing this? You know your friend has a crush on you." And Hajun's reply is direct, cold and stunning. You did the same thing with Min, so don't act so innocent. Not only that, Hajun also tells her he knows a secret about Jiwon, one that nobody else knows, only him. Then the next day, after PE class, while all the students are cooling down, an old photo suddenly goes viral on the school's forum. And it's not just anyone's photo, it's Jiwon's. In the photo, she looks completely different, meaning she wasn't always so glamorous. And just like that, this triggers everyone. People are shocked, they start talking, and many even get angry, as if they've been deceived. Jiwon's secret is no longer a secret, and her whole world is turned upside down. She's devastated, because the secret she'd hidden for so many years is now out in the open. This is where a flashback begins, to a time when Jiwon was constantly harassed at school. She was bullied. But one day, she met Hajun at a bus stop, and that's where their friendship began. They both made a pact to leave their old selves behind and become better people. But now, Jiwon can't understand why that same friend, the one who started this journey with her, is making fun of her today. She starts to think that maybe everything changed after Min arrived. And now another secret is revealed. Hajun might seem simple and caring on the outside, but he wasn't always like that. Once, he exposed his own cousin by leaking a video of him at a singing audition, and as soon as the video came out, the entire class burst into laughter. Hajun's cousin was humiliated, and now, when Hajun's cousin finds out that Hajun did the same thing to Jiwon, he confronts him again. He says, "You haven't changed at all." Hajun tries to defend himself, saying he was just trying to help her, that he didn't know anything. But the truth was, Hajun had always felt inferior to his cousin. He thought people were close to him not for who he was, but because of his cousin. And this jealousy was what forced him to do such things. Now, let's get back to the present. Yi-jun is talking to Yoo-min, and he openly admits that yes, he was the one who made Jiwon's old photo go viral and also spread the rumors about Min. But just then, Min arrives and overhears the entire conversation. She's left in shock. Her trust is shattered. She starts to cry because she thought Yi-jun was her true friend, a good person, but now she's afraid that he might do the same thing to her. Later that night, Yi-jun is waiting for Min, and when she arrives, he tells her he's angry with his cousin and that he's missed her a lot. Hearing this, Min becomes a bit quiet, but as Yi-jun starts to leave, she stops him and says, "Let's go to karaoke, it'll cheer us up." And as soon as they get there, Min notices that Yi-jun is very hesitant to sing. Then, Yi-jun reveals another layer of his past from a time when that same cousin had made fun of him in front of everyone. Ever since then, Yi-jun has always been afraid of becoming a laughingstock again, and that same fear is what stops him from singing even today. But when he tells Min about this, she encourages him and lightens the mood by singing a cute song. Slowly, Yi-jun's face lights up and he too breaks out of his hesitation and sings a beautiful song for her. This moment reminds Min of all the good times they've shared. After the song ends, Min had thought she would now tell Yi-jun her biggest secret, but then she gets scared that Yi-jun might get angry. But then, there's another surprise. Yi-jun suddenly tells her that he's fallen in love with her. Hearing this, Min is thrown into complete confusion, because deep down, she knows she hasn't been completely honest with Yi-jun. So she asks Yi-jun for a little time so she can think everything through properly. Meanwhile, that night, an excited Min calls her friend Yoo-min and tells her everything. How Yi-jun confessed his feelings to her and asked her out on a date. She thanks Yoo-min because without her support, maybe none of this would have been possible. Now, the next day, elsewhere, Jiwon is sitting with her friend, wondering how she can fix her image. Just then, her friend gives her an idea. Why not start a relationship with the new transfer student who's a smart and stylish athlete? But the twist is, this boy is none other than Yoo-min's ex-boyfriend. It's just that the girls don't know this yet. A little later, when Jiwon comes to talk to Min, Min feels that her old friend has changed now, and maybe there's a chance for them to be friends again. They both reminisce about old memories and, forgetting their past grievances, become friends once more. During this conversation, Jiwon shows her a photo of the athlete who was her blind date. And he's the same guy who's transferring from Yoo-min's old school. Min doesn't know anything about that guy, so she says that she would ask her friend Yoo-min. When Min meets Yoo-min and asks about the athlete, Yoo-min's face just drops. She gets angry and thinks Min is being naive because she doesn't know this is the same boy who ruined her past. Yoo-min leaves the conversation unfinished and walks away, and Min can't understand why she got that reaction. The story then flashes back. An incident from 4 months ago is revealed. At that time, Yoo-min was in a relationship with this very athlete. But one day, when she rejected his advances, the boy tried to hit her. Yoo-min musters the courage to report him at school. But because the boy was a promising athlete, the school didn't take immediate action. They needed more proof, so they called in Yumin's best friend to testify. But then, a heartbreaking truth is revealed. Yumin's own best friend, who had a crush on her boyfriend, gave a false testimony and sided with the boy. This left Yumin completely shattered. She felt like she couldn't trust anyone anymore. At school, she was made out to be a liar. And the very next day, a rumor spread that Yumin had falsely accused her boyfriend. And after this revelation, all the students started avoiding our lead heroine, Min. Because remember, she isn't the real Yumin, she's just attending school in her place. Meanwhile, the real Yumin found out about all this. But it didn't bother her because she knew what kind of person Min truly was. Then one day after class, Yejun speaks to her privately. The atmosphere was a little awkward. But still, the boy encourages her and with a sweet smile says that whenever she's ready to share her secrets, they can be friends. Meanwhile, Hae-jun confronts Jiwon, where the boy apologizes for making her old photo go viral, and he promises that he won't cause any more harm to anyone. At first, Jiwon is suspicious that he might still be hiding something, but no, the boy is genuinely remorseful. But as he leaves, he also tells Jiwon that her obsession with being number one in everything will get her nowhere. In the midst of all this, Yumin stops going to school and locks herself in her room. But one day when she comes out, she finds a sweet surprise. A food basket and a letter, sent by none other than Min herself. And as expected, this sweet gesture touched Yumin's heart because she was starting to feel that Min had become her true friend. A few days later, the two meet again, and Min starts to cry because she had no idea her friend was going through so much pain. Min convinces her to return to school and show everyone that she's not a liar, but a victim herself. But then, on the other side of things, a panicked Jiwon calls Min. But why? Well, it turns out that in the past few days, Jiwon had started dating that handsome athlete. Everything seemed to be going well, but the next time they met, then the boy suddenly became very aggressive and toxic. Jiwon got scared and immediately called Min. Yumin, who was with Min at the time, both rushed to the scene and confronted the guy. The boy, who is very clever, plays the victim, claiming the girls are trying to ruin his image and career. But Jiwon stands up to him, saying he's an abusive person and that his actions are unforgivable. Just then, Yumin steps forward, revealing she recorded the entire conversation. In a sharp tone, she warns him to never come near the girls again. The next day, after everything has calmed down, we see both girls getting ready for school. Yumin's confidence has finally returned. On their way, Min says she has something important to do and walks a little ahead. And that's where she meets Yejun. And now for the biggest twist. Min confesses that she deceived everyone, even her own best friend. The truth is, she isn't the real Yumin because Min no longer wanted to be the hardworking, quiet girl she once was. She wanted to be popular now. But when Yejun found out the truth, he made it clear he didn't want to be her friend anymore. Hearing this, Min began to say her goodbyes. But here's the twist. In reality, his reason for breaking things off with Min wasn't just to end their friendship. He wants Min to be his girlfriend. That's right, a pretty good turn of events for our girl. But the story isn't over yet. Back in the classroom, Min makes a big decision. She stands up in front of everyone and tells them the truth, making it clear that if anyone bothers Yumin, they'll have to deal with her. After this revelation, Yumin feels a strange sense of peace and now she wants her school life to go back to normal. So, she makes another big decision. She deletes all her social media accounts, even if it means losing hundreds of followers. And now, after some time has passed, Min and Yejun's relationship gets a fresh start. It's here that Min discovers that the playlist she listened to every day, its real owner was none other than Yejun. And with that emotional moment, the wonderful journey of User Not Found comes to an end. Remember one thing, no matter how far you go, you can never run from your true identity. In trying to live someone else's life, you'll lose everything that makes you special. Because real strength isn't in a mask, but in accepting your own truth.